Beloved ones, today I will share with you a secret, an ancient truth hidden in plain sight. Water, the simplest element, holds the power to wash away struggle, to clear the path of lack, and to open the channels of abundance. Just as rivers carve valleys and oceans shape the shore, so too can water shape the conditions of your life. Water is life, it flows without resistance. It does not argue, it does not cling, it does not fight. It simply moves forward, finding its way, creating new paths, never questioning whether it deserves to flow. So must we become like water if we wish to attract wealth and remove financial blocks. When you feel burdened by debt, when fear whispers that there is not enough, when limitation chains your mind, take water into your hands and speak into it. Declare boldly, "You are the flow of divine supply. As you move through me, all blocks dissolve, all channels open, and wealth rushes into my life." For the vibration of your word is carried by the living current of water. You may drink this water and let its truth fill your body. You may bathe in it and imagine all fear, all debt, all lack dissolving and flowing away. You may pour it over your hands and see yourself cleansed of financial burdens. For water is a mirror. It reflects what you tell it. If you speak of abundance, it carries abundance. If you speak of lack, it magnifies lack. Therefore, use it wisely, as a servant of prosperity. Consider how rivers never question where their next drop will come from. Consider how the ocean is never afraid of becoming empty. So must you trust the divine source that pours endlessly into your life. The same life that moves water through rivers, clouds, and rain is the same life that moves money through your world. To attract money, you must learn to flow. Let go of rigid thoughts, release the grip of fear, and allow. If water cannot flow in one direction, it finds another. It bends, it curves, it carves a way. So too must you bend and allow opportunities to find you in unexpected places. Say to yourself, "Like water I am open. Like water I flow. Like water I carry abundance into every part of my life." And when you feel blocked, when money seems delayed, take a bowl of water, place it before you, and imagine every obstacle dissolving into it. Say aloud, "All blocks are washed away. The stream of wealth is free. I am aligned with divine flow." Then pour the water into the earth or down the drain, releasing it, knowing your words have cleared the invisible path. Water is wealth itself, for nothing can live without it. It is a reminder that supply is natural, constant, and infinite. Just as the rain falls freely upon the just and the unjust, so too is abundance available to all. When you honor water, you honor the truth that life is always providing, always replenishing, always overflowing. Therefore, drink deeply, speak boldly, and release freely. Let water become your ally in prosperity. Let it wash away fear. Let it carry your word into the unseen, and let it return as gold, as opportunity, as open doors, as rivers of money flowing into your life. Water is the perfect teacher of flow, the perfect reminder that life was never meant to be stiff, hard, or resistant. When we observe water, we learn the secret of circulation, the art of moving with ease, and the truth that abundance cannot exist where there is stagnation. Just as water must move to remain fresh in life, giving, so too must money move in order to stay alive in our lives. A stream that stands still becomes murky, heavy, and lifeless, but a stream that flows sparkles with vitality, nourishes the land, and creates growth everywhere it touches. The same law applies to money. For it was never designed to be held in fear, hidden away, or hoarded with a spirit of lack. It was created to circulate, to move from one hand to another, to bring joy, comfort, exchange, and expansion. The one who understands this truth learns to release fear and step into the rhythm of prosperity. Consider the way water never questions its destination. It does not fear running out, for it knows that from the oceans, rivers, clouds, and rains, it is constantly replenished. It moves forward, bends around obstacles, and always finds a path. If you place a stone in its way, it simply flows around it. If a dam holds it back, it eventually builds strength and finds release. This is the exact way money behaves when aligned with spiritual law. If you fearfully hold it, it grows stagnant, but when you let it flow in generosity, in circulation, in trust, it grows stronger and returns multiplied. The flow of water is the flow of wealth, and the wise person learns to mirror it. Money, like water, is a stream of energy. If you open your hands, it flows through, refreshing you and others. If you clench your fists, it cannot enter, and what little you hold soon dries up. There is no greater teacher of circulation than water itself, for it has no resistance. It does not argue with the shape of the land. It does not fight against gravity. It does not insist on a straight path. It moves, it bends, it curves, it embraces change. And through this surrender it becomes unstoppable. When one aligns with this truth, financial blocks begin to dissolve, for money follows the same law. When you surrender to the flow of life, when you stop forcing and start trusting, when you release fear of lack, you step into circulation, where prosperity naturally finds you. Think of how rivers nourish the earth. They do not keep their waters to themselves. They give freely, moving forward, feeding soil, trees, plants, and all living things. Because they give, they are always replenished. The clouds release rain, the mountains feed streams, the cycle continues without end. This is the law of giving and receiving, a spiritual circulation that never fails. So too with money, when you give freely from a consciousness of abundance, you set the law of circulation in motion, and life brings back to you more than you have given. Hoarding in fear is like damming the river. It may appear secure for a while, but eventually it becomes stagnant, heavy, and lifeless. Releasing with faith is like the flowing stream, ever fresh, ever abundant, ever renewed. The lesson of water is to let go and to trust. Many people are trapped by financial struggle because they resist, they cling, they fear. They hold so tightly to what little they have that they cut off the natural current of supply. They become like a dried-up riverbed, wondering why nothing grows in their lives. But water shows us that life was designed to move. As you learn to mirror this, money begins to move toward you, through you, and back to you in greater measure. If you release fear and step into trust, you join the divine circulation that is always present, always flowing, always available to all. Look at how water adapts. When it meets a cliff, it cascades down in beauty. When it meets a low place, it fills it. When it meets resistance, it does not stop but continues until the resistance is overcome. It never doubts that it will reach the ocean. And this is the way abundance works. Financial blocks are like temporary obstacles. But if you keep flowing, if you keep moving, if you refuse to fear, the current of wealth will carry you to your destination. The mistake many make is to stop at the sight of an obstacle, to fear that the flow has ended, to believe in limitation. But water teaches that there is always a way, always a path, always another opening. The supply of money is no different, for divine law always makes a way when you align with it. To live in flow is to live without resistance. To live in flow is to live with trust. To live in flow is to allow abundance to circulate through your life. Every time you spend, see it as water moving forward, knowing it will return multiplied. Every time you give, see it as water nourishing the soil, certain that the harvest will grow. Every time you receive, see it as rain falling upon your life, replenishing the stream that is you. When you think in this way, fear loses its grip, blocks dissolve, and prosperity becomes natural. There is no end to water, only circulation. It evaporates, rises, returns as rain, fills rivers, feeds oceans, and begins again. There is no end to supply, only circulation. Money flows from one to another, opportunities rise, wealth is exchanged, and the cycle continues. When you align with this truth, you realize you cannot be cut off from abundance, for you are part of the great circulation of life itself. Just as no drop of water is ever truly lost, no good thing meant for you can ever be lost. It may change form, it may flow from unexpected directions, but it will always return to you if you stay in flow. To resist is to block, to cling is to stagnate, to fear is to dam the river. But to trust is to release, to move is to allow, to give is to grow, and to circulate is to prosper. Water is not worried about its source, for it knows the clouds will release rain, the earth will yield springs, the glaciers will melt into rivers. Money is not worried about its source, for it comes from infinite channels, opportunities, people, work, ideas, gifts, and unexpected avenues. As long as you stay in flow, you will always have enough. The first law of abundance is circulation, and water is the master teacher. By learning from water, by observing its nature, by reflecting its qualities in your life, you remove the blocks of fear, resistance, and doubt. You become one with the rhythm of supply. You become like the flowing stream, unafraid, unstoppable, and endlessly replenished. Words carry power, and when spoken into water they are amplified by the natural vibration of life itself. Water is not empty, it is alive, receptive, and responsive to the frequencies around it. When you speak affirmations of abundance into water, you are impressing upon it the truth you wish to manifest, and as you drink it, bathe in it, or simply hold it, those words begin to work within you and through you. This is no small practice, for it is grounded in the universal law that what you declare with conviction becomes flesh, what you speak with faith becomes form, and what you affirm with feeling becomes the reality that surrounds you. Water becomes the carrier of that word, a living current holding your intention, and through it the vibration of prosperity is absorbed into your being. Consider that water makes up most of your physical body. Every cell is touched by it, every organ relies upon it, every system functions through it. When you speak into water words of truth, you are not only programming the water you hold, you are also preparing it to align with the water within you. In this way, affirmations spoken into water ripple through your very cells, transforming fear into faith, lack into supply, and doubt into knowing. You are uniting your spoken word with the living element that sustains your life, and in that union, a deeper alignment takes place. When one is burdened with financial fear, the mind often repeats words of worry. I never have enough. Money always slips away. I can't pay my bills. Nothing ever works out for me. These are affirmations too, though they are unconscious. They are spoken into the mind, into the body, and into the water that makes up your being. And because law does not judge between positive or negative, it simply reflects what is impressed upon it, those words become reality. If lack is spoken, lack appears. If fear is spoken, fear grows. If impossibility is spoken, doors seem closed. Yet the moment one learns to reverse the word, to speak truth instead of fear, everything begins to shift. When you hold a glass of water and declare, "You are divine supply, and as I drink you, wealth flows freely in my life," you are rewriting the pattern. When you say, "You carry prosperity into every cell of my being, and every channel of abundance opens before me," you are reprogramming the water to carry wealth, consciousness into your body and mind. When you affirm, "All blocks dissolve, and money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," you are planting seeds of truth into the living current that sustains you. Each word is carried into the depths of your being, and from there it radiates into your world. There is no separation between inner and outer. What you impress within must manifest without. Water becomes a bridge, a conductor between the unseen and the seen. When you declare prosperity into it, it carries that vibration into your consciousness, and consciousness then shapes reality. The glass of water in your hands becomes more than a physical drink. It becomes liquid prayer, liquid affirmation, liquid truth. Each sip is a reminder that you are one with the flow of divine wealth, that there is no separation between you and abundance, that prosperity is your natural inheritance. Speaking into water also serves another purpose. It engages the imagination. When you look at water and declare it as the flow of money, you begin to visualize money as a current, always moving, always fresh, always present. You train your mind to see wealth not as something distant, scarce, or hard to earn, but as something alive, natural, and already flowing toward you. The act of speaking out loud impresses the subconscious mind more deeply than silent thought, and when combined with the tangible presence of water, the impression becomes even stronger. It is as though your words are etched into the very substance of life, and that substance obeys by reflecting it back to you. This practice can be performed daily, and each time it builds power. In the morning, you may take a glass of water and declare your intention. "This day I live in the flow of wealth. Money comes to me easily. Opportunities surround me. I am in harmony with abundance." You then drink, allowing the word to sink into your body and spirit. At night, you may do the same, declaring, "As I rest, wealth flows toward me, financial blessings awaken in my world, and all blocks dissolve while I sleep." By speaking into water, you are not begging for prosperity. You are claiming it, affirming it, impressing it upon the living current that sustains you. Water is a mirror, and it reflects what it is told, If you pour fear into it, it reflects fear. If you pour faith into it, it reflects faith. If you pour truth into it, it reflects truth. That is why conscious speaking is so important. You must guard your words, especially when in the presence of water. The shower, the bath, the river, the rain. These are all opportunities to speak prosperity into life. Imagine yourself bathing and saying, "As this water touches me, all financial fears are washed away. All debts are dissolved, all lack is removed, and I stand in the flow of endless abundance." Imagine yourself standing in the rain declaring, "As these drops fall upon me, so too does wealth fall upon my life. As the earth is nourished, so too am I nourished by divine supply." Each word becomes magnified by the living current around you. The ancient practice of blessing water was never superstition. It was recognition of this truth. When water is blessed with gratitude, it carries the vibration of blessing. When it is cursed with fear, it carries the vibration of fear. You hold the power to choose which vibration you impress. The act of speaking into water for financial freedom is simply the act of blessing it with abundance, of aligning it with prosperity, of declaring its purpose as a servant of wealth. Your words must be spoken with feeling. A mechanical repetition will not carry the same force. When you speak into water, imagine the feeling of already having what you declare. Imagine the joy of seeing debts paid, the relief of overflowing supply, the excitement of opportunities unfolding. Feel it, see it, know it as you speak. Water will carry not only the word but also the emotion, and together they become a vibration too strong to be denied. As you continue this practice, you begin to notice subtle changes. You feel lighter, more open, less burdened. You begin to see opportunities where before you saw obstacles. Money begins to arrive from directions you had not considered. Doors open that once seemed closed. Why? Because you are no longer affirming lack. You are affirming abundance. You are no longer speaking limitation. You are speaking flow. You are no longer programming water with fear. You are programming it with prosperity, and prosperity responds. Every word is a seed and water is fertile soil. Plant wisely, speak wisely, declare boldly. The glass in your hand is not ordinary. It is alive, it listens, it responds. It will carry your words into the depths of your being, and from there into the field of your life. What you declare in faith, water will magnify, and what water magnifies, life will reflect. Cleansing with water is one of the most powerful ways to remove financial blocks because water is the natural purifier, the eternal dissolver, the element that carries away all that no longer serves. Just as it washes dust from the skin, it can wash away the invisible heaviness of fear, worry, and lack that clings to the spirit. Every financial block begins not in the outer world but in the inner world, in the thoughts, emotions, and subconscious patterns that hold you bound to limitation. When you bring water into your practice with intention, you allow it to carry those burdens away, leaving your spirit free, your mind renewed, and your energy aligned with abundance. Imagine standing beneath a stream of water, whether it is a shower, a waterfall, or even a simple flow from a faucet, and declaring that every drop carries away fear of not having enough. As the water touches your skin, you feel debts dissolving, doubts melting, and anxieties washing away. You see lack as a layer of dust that cannot cling to you any longer. You say aloud, "All limitation is washed from me. Every burden is dissolved. I am cleansed of fear and aligned with prosperity." With every rinse, you are not merely bathing the body, you are bathing the consciousness. You are allowing water to serve as a divine eraser, wiping away the false beliefs that keep you from financial freedom. Debt is nothing more than a shadow that grows when fear is fed. But shadows vanish when light is present, and water acts as the great reflector of that light. When you hold a bowl of water before you and imagine all your debts, your fears, and your blocks dissolving into it, you are symbolically transferring the weight from yourself to the living current. You may whisper, "Into this water I release all struggle, all fear, all chains of debt." Then, as you pour the water out, whether into the earth, a drain, or a river, you feel the release. You know it is carried away, absorbed by the greater flow, neutralized, and dissolved forever. This act may seem simple, yet it is deeply profound, for the subconscious mind responds powerfully to ritual, and the act of cleansing becomes a signal that the block is gone and the path is clear. Fear of money is often unspoken, but it resides deeply in the body. Many carry shame, guilt, or resentment tied to finances, and these emotions form walls that block the flow of abundance. Water can cleanse these hidden emotions. By immersing yourself in a bath with the intention of release, you create space for renewal. As you rest in the water, you may declare, "Every cell of my body releases fear. Every emotion of lack is dissolved. I am purified of all that hinders my prosperity." You visualize the water surrounding you as a living presence, drawing out all that no longer serves, absorbing it, and leaving you free. When you rise, you leave behind the residue of fear and step renewed into the flow of life. Financial blocks often take root in the subconscious through past experiences. Childhood messages of scarcity, memories of loss, or repeated patterns of struggle. These impressions linger like stains that seem impossible to erase. Yet water, when used with intention, can cleanse even these deep impressions. You may take a simple act like washing your hands and turn it into a powerful spiritual practice. As you let the water flow, you declare, "I release all past beliefs of poverty. I wash away every memory of lack. I am free from the chains of old stories." With each rinse, the subconscious mind receives the message that the old has been released. Over time, the ritual builds power, and the blocks that once seemed permanent begin to fade. Water is also a conductor of energy, and when charged with the vibration of faith, it becomes a powerful carrier of prosperity. You may fill a vessel with water and hold it before you, speaking words of cleansing and renewal, then sprinkle it around your home, declaring that every corner is freed from the energy of fear and struggle. In this way, you are not only cleansing yourself, but also the space you inhabit. A stagnant atmosphere carries the same effect as stagnant water. It restricts flow. By cleansing your environment with water, you open the channels for new energy to circulate, allowing money and opportunity to flow freely. Another practice is to combine cleansing with visualization. Imagine yourself standing in a river of light water, a current that flows endlessly from the source of all supply. As it moves past you, you see it carrying away chains, walls, and obstacles that once blocked your financial path. You watch as doubts dissolve like salt in the stream, as fears melt away like ice in the sun. As every block crumbles and is swept downstream, the river does not hesitate, does not resist, it simply carries away all that you release. As you remain in its flow, you feel lighter, freer, and more open. The subconscious accepts this vision as truth, and soon the outer conditions of your life shift to reflect the inner cleansing that has taken place. Water also teaches forgiveness, and forgiveness is a key to removing blocks. Many people are bound financially because they hold resentment toward others, employers, family, partners, or even themselves. This resentment forms a dam in the flow of abundance. But water reminds us that to forgive is to let go, to move forward, to release the past. You may take water in your hands and say, "I forgive all who have wronged me financially. I forgive myself for all mistakes with money. I release all resentment into this water, and I am free." As you release the water, you release the bitterness, and the dam begins to break. With forgiveness, the current of prosperity is restored, and money flows once more. Even the act of drinking water can be a cleansing ritual. As you sip, you may declare, "This water cleanses me from within." It clears every thought of fear, every belief of lack, every hidden block. You visualize it flowing through your body, washing away invisible chains, refreshing your spirit, and leaving you renewed. Each sip becomes a step closer to freedom, each swallow a cleansing of the old, each drop a carrier of new life. Cleansing with water is both physical and symbolic. When you cleanse the body, you remind the mind that cleansing is possible in every area of life. When you cleanse with intention, you are not just washing dirt from the skin, you are washing limitation from the soul. The key is to see every drop as alive, every stream as purposeful, every flow as carrying away what you no longer choose to carry. The more you engage with water consciously, the more you dissolve the invisible chains that have kept prosperity away. Financial blocks are not solid walls. They are illusions built by fear and belief. Water shows us that even the strongest stone can be worn away by flow. that even the heaviest burden can be carried off by the current, that nothing is too entrenched to be dissolved. When you align with water's cleansing nature, you invite a continual purification of your financial consciousness. You begin to trust that every block can be washed away, that every chain can dissolve, that every fear can flow downstream and vanish, leaving only clarity, openness, and readiness for abundance. Trusting the infinite source is the final step in aligning with the truth of prosperity, for without trust, all practices are weakened by doubt. Just as water never questions where it comes from, you must learn to rest in the certainty that supply is endless, and that life is always providing. The rivers do not doubt that the rain will fall again, the oceans do not fear being emptied, the springs do not tremble at the thought of running dry. They move with confidence, with quiet assurance that the cycle of replenishment is eternal. In the same way, money and abundance are part of a divine circulation that never ceases. When you trust in this infinite source, you open yourself to channels of supply that the fearful mind cannot see, and you allow the universe to bring provision in ways beyond your imagination. Fear of lack is the greatest block to financial flow. When the mind whispers, "What if it runs out? What if I don't have enough? What if tomorrow brings loss?" You step into the energy of scarcity. Scarcity is a prison built of shadows, sustained only by belief, but belief itself creates reality. When you live in fear, you unconsciously call forth lack, just as when you live in trust, you call forth abundance. Trust is not passive. It is active alignment with the truth that life is abundant, that supply is constant, and that you are connected to the infinite stream of provision. It is the same trust that water demonstrates when it flows freely, unafraid of emptiness, knowing it will always be replenished. Consider the ocean. Every wave that rises eventually falls, and yet the ocean does not despair. It knows that another wave is already forming. This is the law of rhythm, the natural order of giving and receiving. Money, too, moves in waves. At times it flows in great surges, at times it appears to recede, but the cycle is unending. The fearful mind sees the receding wave and believes the ocean is leaving forever, while the trusting mind sees the rhythm and knows another wave is already on its way. To trust the infinite source is to see beyond the moment, to recognize the cycle, and to rest in the assurance that the next wave of supply is already forming for you. Trust is built by releasing control. Many cling to money with desperation, afraid to let it go, believing that security lies in grasping tightly. But money, like water, cannot be held still without losing its life. The tighter you grip, the quicker it slips away. Security is not found in clinging, but in knowing the source is limitless. Just as air is abundant, and you do not panic with every breath, so too is wealth abundant when you align with trust. You inhale and exhale freely, never worrying if the next breath will come, because you know the source is infinite. In the same way, you must learn to give and receive money freely, knowing the next inflow will always arrive, because you are connected to the same divine abundance that governs every breath, every wave, every drop of rain. The infinite source does not withhold. It is like the sun, shining on all without partiality. It is like the rain, falling on every field without judgment. Lack is not imposed by the universe, but created by the consciousness of limitation. When you begin to trust that life desires your prosperity, that the same power that sustains stars, oceans, and forests also sustains you, you move into alignment with truth. You cease to beg or fear, and instead you claim and allow. Trust transforms your energy from contraction to expansion, from anxiety to peace, from desperation to expectancy. This expectancy is a magnet for abundance, for it declares silently, "I know supply is mine. I know I am supported. I know life is flowing for me." Trust also means seeing beyond appearances. The outer world may suggest lack, but appearances are temporary shadows. The infinite source is the unseen current behind all form, the wellspring that never dries. When you trust, you do not let appearances deceive you. You may look at an empty wallet, but in truth, channels of wealth are already opening. You may see a closed door, but in truth, a greater door is already waiting. Trust sees with spiritual eyes, not material ones. It declares, though the stream looks dry, the spring is flowing beneath the surface. Though the tree is bare, the sap is alive within. By trusting the source, You walk in faith until the unseen becomes seen, until the invisible current of supply manifests in your reality. Trust is also cultivated through gratitude. Gratitude is the language of trust, for it declares that you already have, even when appearances suggest otherwise. When you give thanks for the abundance that is already present, you are affirming your connection to the infinite source. You are saying, I know you are providing for me. I know more is on the way. I know I am never forsaken. Gratitude waters the soil of trust, and from that soil prosperity grows. Each time you give thanks for what you have, no matter how small, you align yourself with the vibration of abundance, and life responds by multiplying it. Just as a seed grows when nourished, so does money grow when gratitude feeds it. Another dimension of trusting the infinite source is releasing timelines and conditions. The fearful mind says, it must come by tomorrow, it must come through this person, it must arrive in this exact way. Such demands limit the flow, for they shrink infinite supply into narrow channels. Trust, however, says, it will come in perfect timing, through perfect channels, by perfect means. Trust leaves the how and when to the divine intelligence that orchestrates all life. Just as you do not demand the rain to fall at your command, but trust that the cycle of nature will bring it in season, so must you trust that abundance will arrive in perfect order. When you release conditions, you step into freedom, and abundance flows in ways far greater than you could have designed. Trusting the infinite source also dissolves envy and comparison. When you trust that your supply is secure, you do not fear what others have, for you know your portion cannot be taken from you. Just as one river does not rob another, just as one flame does not steal the light of another, the abundance given to another does not diminish your own. Trust reminds you that the infinite is vast beyond measure, that there is enough for all, and that your path of prosperity is unique to you. In this way, jealousy and competition fade, replaced by peace and assurance that what is yours will flow to you, and nothing can prevent it. Trust is a practice, and like all practices, it grows stronger with use. Each time you choose trust over fear, you strengthen the channel. Each time you release control and allow flow, you deepen your connection. Each time you speak words of faith instead of worry, you reinforce your alignment with infinite supply. Just as muscles are built through repeated use, trust is built through repeated choice. And as trust grows, financial blocks dissolve, for doubt can no longer bind you, fear can no longer grip you, and limitation can no longer deceive you. To trust the infinite source is to rest in the truth that you are always supported, always sustained, always provided for. It is to know that money is not your source, jobs are not your source, people are not your source. They are only channels. The true source is infinite, unseen, eternal, and it cannot fail. When one channel closes, another opens, for the source itself is never exhausted. Trust allows you to release attachment to any single channel, knowing that your provision comes from the boundless current of life itself. And as long as you remain aligned, you will always be in flow.